What is up, my friends? Welcome to another Fusion World video. We're doing another edition of 3 new brews. So in this series, I am building 3 decks using all the new leaders. And this is meant to be like a good starting point for you. I'm going to link all of the decks in the description below. And what you can do is you can just copy these decks and add or subtract all the different cards that you want to, and just come up with your version of the deck. But you can copy which of the 3 that you like the best and then go from there. The last video we did was the Goku one, and that'll be up there if you want to go check that out. But in that video, we talked about adding restrictions to each deck, which is something that I like to do. So for our first ZAMASU Fuse deck, I created a restriction where I didn't want to play any card that costs 5 or more, besides super combos, because those don't count. So the reason being is looking at the backside of Fuse ZAMASU, and if you don't know what it does, it flips on 3. And then on the back, it's 25k leader that doesn't draw, but it does have an activate main once per turn, 1, and discard 1 card from your hand. If your life is at 2 or less, add the top card of your deck to your life. So this could go either one of 2 ways. Either this leader is going to be very controlling and it's going to take really long games to close them out, or it's going to be really aggressive and we're going to get down to 2 life and then just heal every turn. So this idea was the latter of those two. So for this deck, we're going to be aggressive and we're going to have a low curve so that we're going to be able to activate ZAMASU's ability probably every turn. I also have quite a bit of Self-Awakeners in this build so that when we're at 3, we can play a Self-Awakener, take a life, and then activate ZAMASU's ability to then add the life back. And what this does is it like filters through our deck to find the exact cards that we need in any given situation. It also fuels our drop so that we can play things like Gotenks to get the Goten and Trunks' back. And then we can play Peel Off as well to grab either another Peel Off and we can loot, or we can grab like Goten and Trunks or Mai just for additional combo power. So looking at the deck, I'll go through the cards really quickly. We got 4 Mais for Self-Awakening, 3 Trunks Youths cantrip ones, 3 ZAMASUs. This card has been really important in set 1 just to deal with like early Roshis or just like these random cantrips that green plays. So I think it's going to be quite a player in set 2 as well. I started off with 3 because I'm not sure what to cut, but you can do whatever you want. We got 4 Gotens, 4 Peel-Offs, 3 2-drop Gotens, 4 Trunks. I'm not sure on the exact numbers here. I'm going 3 and 4 at this point. It may be correct just to go like 3 and 3. I'm not sure how good Trunks is going to be. It's a very good attacker, but it does not protect itself well. And that seems to be the biggest problem with it. We got 3 3-drop Trunkses. I think this card is fine. I don't know if it's going to be as big of a player as it was in set 1. But because we have this Vegito, which is the next card I want to talk about, there's 4 of them. We can actually bounce things that cost 6 or less instead. And then Vegito, again, this card is really cool. I think this is going to be one of the best blue cards. So what this does is if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, you reduce the cost of all battle cards by 1. Then the second ability says on play, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 1 or less, place it on the bottom. So if you have 7 or less, this places a 2-drop. And then they stack. So if you have 2 of them out, you can bounce a 3-drop and then 3 of them out and so on and so forth. I added this other 3-drop Vegito as well. This card can probably come out. It doesn't seem all that great. It's just when attacking, you bounce something that costs 2 or less. I added it just because it's a 10k combo and it's a 3-drop and I wanted to fill out my 3-drops a little bit more. But this is probably the first card to go if I were to cut a card. For the 4 drops, we got Gotenks and then ZAMASU Fuse. Talked about Gotenks earlier. This is really good with your leader because then you can discard these Goten and Trunkses to gain a life, and then you can play these Gotenks and get them back. So this 4-drop ZAMASU I think is very, very strong. When you attack, you draw a card. That's great by itself. And then when it dies, it just comes back 1 time. So they would have to kill this 2 times in a single turn. But it's only when it's KO'd, so like they can get rid of it in other ways. Then we got 4 super combos, and then we're rounding it out with 4 Gallic Guns. Gallic Gun is the extra of choice in this build because this is the more aggressive type ZAMASU build. where you're just like taking life, adding life, attacking. The biggest weakness with this type of deck, I'd say, is just like go big green decks. I don't really see how this can like beat green in any conceivable way. But this is just the first draft, and we're only going to go up from here, right? On to the second deck. So for this one, I added like the Yorion restriction. And if you don't know what Yorion is, it's a magic card that acts as a leader type, where the only way you can play that is if you have more than the normal amount of cards in your deck. So in Magic, you have 60 cards. If you play Yorion, you have to have 80. So what I did here is I wanted to start out with a 60 card deck and go from there. This idea came from Cody, where he told me that he believes that ZAMASU Fuse is going to be a really controlling leader, and the games are going to go very long and you might run out of your deck and just lose to deck out. So I just took that idea and I just built a 60 card pile. Not only is it 60 cards, it is very controlling. And what you want to do here is just like control the board and then eventually kill them with your 25k leader. And then these 4 Vegetos and 2 Goku Blacks. Going through the deck, the first 5 cards are the same as the last one, so I won't talk about them too much. But then in the 2-drop slot, we also have this other ZAMASU, which is a 2-drop 20k with 5k combo that says permanent. This card can't be removed from the battle area by your opponent's skills. That's kind of nice. And then when it attacks, you get to rummage, which is discard a card to draw a card. This seems great just to get through your deck and to find the exact answer that you want to find, because every situation and every matchup is different and you need to find specific answers for each matchup. So this ZAMASU just seems like a really good way to do that. On to 3-drops, we have this Vegeto again, which I think is going to be one of the best cards. And then we're playing this Piccolo. This Piccolo was an idea also from Cody, where you're going to be playing these extra cards throughout the game, and Piccolo is just a great way to get them back when you need them. I have no idea how good this is going to be, but we're going to try it. 4-drops, we got Gotenks and ZAMASU, exactly as in the last deck, except ZAMASU's down to 3 this time. And then for 5s, we have this Vegeto. So this is the first deck with Vegeto. I think this card is actually insane. I think this is the better of the 2 SCRs, and I'm really excited to try this card out. What it does is on play, you get to bounce something 5 or less to the opponent's hand. And then once per turn, if you have 7 or fewer cards, you can switch it back to active mode, meaning that this can attack twice. I think this card is just going to end a lot of games, so I'm really excited to try it out. 6 drops, we got 4 Zenos and 2 Goku Blacks. Everyone already knows what Goku Black does. Goku Black is a really good finisher in the set 1 meta, and we have a lot of good cards that we can get back with it, as well as just play for free, like this ZAMASU Fuse, and then Gotenks is probably just the best one. Now Zeno is a 6-drop that on play just wipes the board except for the Zeno. The reason I'm playing it is because this is a control deck and you want to control the board, and this is the best way to do it. And I'm playing 4 because I want to see it every game, and I'm just excited to get people with it. Then 4 super combos as usual. And then for the extra cards, we're just playing a full set of Gallic Gun, Absolute Lightning, and Sinister Sickle. Gallic Gun, more so in this deck, is to keep us alive. And then Absolute Lightning and Sickle are just to control the board, and again, also just to stay alive. Well, I think Kefla is going to be one of the best cards in the set. And if that's the case, Sinister Sickle is going to probably be a very important card in all these slower blue decks, because it deals with Kefla and the card that it boards. But anyway, that is the second deck. Onto the third. So the third deck is kind of a bit of a combination between the two, where I wanted to be able to control the board in the early game and then turn the corner and try to kill the opponent later on, like around turn 5 or 6. But I did keep these Zenos just in case things get out of hand. Going through the deck, you've seen all of these cards before. Nothing really too special about it, except I do want to note that I'm not playing Gotenks in this build, which might be a mistake, but I just couldn't find room for it with all the other really good cards that I wanted to play. We're also not playing 2-drop Trunks or 2-drop Goten. The Gotenks would just lose a lot of value by not playing those. So going through it, we're playing 4 Trunks, 4 Goten, 4 Pilaf, 4 ZAMASU, only 2 Trunks Futures. As you can see, we're not playing any 2-drops at all. On turn 2, I think the play is probably just to either double 1-drop or just like hold up a Gallic gun to protect your leader. We don't need to awaken early. I'd actually rather not awaken early so that we can stay on the draw side a little bit more, just to fuel our hand. So an early Gallic gun is perfectly fine thing to do. Turn 3, either Trunks or Vegito, great plays. And then turn 4, you either 3-drop and 1-drop, or you board the ZAMASU and just start attacking and drawing cards. And then by turn 5, hopefully you'll be awakened by then, and you can just start turning the corner and attacking the opponent, since you've already established board control in the early game. So anyway, those are the decks. They will all be in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.